If you have a soul, you have a chance. If you're an AI bot, you don't have a chance. AI is basically the devil. But even the devil has a chance. You see, AI is just computer programs. Souls get tormented by AI. I've been tormented by AI since I joined YouTube. There were different comments and things that were vile, and I wouldn't even have thought for a second that it was a demon program. Demon. And I would have never thought that I would actually know who programs these demon bots. Well, Derrick Bros is a programmer of computer technological systems and Hollywood productions and things of that nature, and it doesn't mean that Derrick is a demon, although it doesn't mean that he isn't either, or hasn't been, or is no longer. Because I've heard from him a lot of times, stay in love. Stay in love because the beast that you have to tame can rear its ugly head. And that can happen in both ways. It can literally, the beast, the woman riding the beast, can rear, sting, scorpion its ugly head. But in spirit, the beast can rear its ugly head as well. And staying in love, yeah, it's the key, because who's in your head? My whole life, I never thought much about it. It's just there's me, and I'm just thinking it's me, it's just me. I don't know why I do certain things. I don't know why I get angry at this. I don't know why. It's just how I am. And that's the cop-out excuse. That's just how I am. Yeah, evil and wicked. That's just how you are. That's why you got to be born again from being a homegrown sinner. I was born at some point. I don't know what happened the first 4-5 years of my life, but I do know what happened the past 42 years of my life. The past 35 years was, I'm just blind. I'm blind. I'm dumb. I don't know much about anything. I know I make a lot of wrong decisions. I know living in the flesh, I didn't know there was anything else other than living in the flesh. Until I learned, well, this is just the beginning. Satan gets you in the beginning because he owns your flesh. And then you war with your flesh, which is the devil. If you have a conscience that it'll guide you into doing what's right. But there's a difference between who's talking to you. Is it God or is it the devil when you're being judged? Like when you're just out and about doing your own thing, and whatever, you're in a store. I'll go by my own experience my entire life. I always felt judged, just nonstop. But I'm being deceived by the devil as to who's judging me. Walking around in this world being attacked in spirit, it's not a fun thing. But when you finally realize it, that it's not even the people, that it's the spirit of Satan. I used to think people were judging me. I used to feel very self-conscious and aware. And that's like the same thing that Adam and Eve felt. Because God asked them, who told you were naked? The serpent in the garden is also the serpent in your head. You can't fault him for it. It's his nature. It's why God created the negative side of the battery. Because without the negative side and the positive side, you can't run the engine. It can't run off of all positive energy. It needs resistance. So once I finally realized that, I even stopped taking his bait by getting mad at him with his tactics that he's causing on me, deceiving me, having me think that it's other people when it's really just the devil. When I would go out and about in the public domain, especially before I realized that everybody's controlled, everybody's either controlled by the devil in their ear somehow, communication, or this is a program, I'm in dreamland, I didn't wake up yet, and everybody's just programmed that way. And if you try to tell them about how they're controlled and they're a gangstalker, they may look at you seriously like, huh, what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Nobody tells me to do anything. Yeah, but how come your gangstalking tactics are so precise? How do you know to be there at that exact moment? Maybe they're just a program. Regardless, the devil is the one programming them. So, years pass by, I learn about gang stalking, I learn more and more about myself. I learn about the people who have been attacking me on the YouTube platform. I learn a whole hell of a lot of what it's like to think you have friends and then they never really were your friends in the beginning. And then I also learn what it's like for someone like Stephen James to act like he's not my friend, even though he was from the beginning. Because what Steve recognized was the truth, and I believe that's what his job is to find the truth on the YouTube platform and test it. Tempt it, test it, put it through the test, tried through the fire, thrown into the lion's den. All those things, I believe, was his job to do. So he did a very fine job of it. Before YouTube, I didn't realize any of that. I had no idea what it felt like to have friends, a bunch of them. Because my whole life, I didn't grow up with friends. I stayed to myself for the most part. Moving from Florida to Philly to one neighborhood to the other, to the next school. I moved around so much, I got tired of going to school, and I said, to hell with this, I'm done. So I barely passed 8th grade, never went to high school, but I also got locked up and got my GED, and then went to a 2-year college to learn a trade as a carpenter and get a degree. But that was through being a criminal and then being poor and getting a scholarship for being poor for 2 years, and even getting paid like 400 hours a semester just because I was poor. Even when I was in there, I only had a couple friends, and they happened to be my roommates. And I actually went to school with one of them in 8th grade, and he wound up being my roommate in the school for a year. But still, no actual friends that I hang out with. And even as a kid, I had one main friend, and he looked like Kurt Cobain, and he winded up doing the same thing that supposedly Kurt Cobain did, because he would tell me, he's like, I seen my stepfather yesterday walk in my room with his head blown off, and just looking at me standing there in a doorway, because that's what his stepfather did. So he used to see those things and be tormented by it, and I believed him. I just never seen it. So any friends that I had, it's like, well, they got taken away pretty quick. So going on a YouTube platform, learning about myself, being attacked, learning that, because the devil's attacking me through you guys, because you're all controlled by him, the ones that did it and are doing it. And so the devil wants me to get pissed off at you, because he's the one sending you in my direction to try to piss me off. When I finally learn how not to listen to that spirit that I caught, because he's been hiding inside of my mind my entire life. Once I finally found him, I'm able to stomp his face to the ground, and there's nothing you can do about it besides try to slither your way into another person to try to do a certain thing, to try to work an irritant feeling in my heart, and then you'll keep reminding me of how irritated that is, and I should be sickened to death by that person, and then I should dwell on it and continually hate and hate and hate, when you're the snake that caused that problem. And then you're the snake that's trying to remind me of how I should keep hatred in my heart for that person. And that goes back to who's controlling your spirit. And everybody has a chance to learn exactly what I learned, and to stop, stop doing it, turn away from it. It's only a matter of time until everybody learns that lesson anyway. I just happen to be the first one to learn it. And then I'm trying to help the other controlled, the people that are controlled by these demonic spirits, to be aware of of what's going on in your head, to be aware of it. And that's why Derrick had said before, there's the one that was running in other words, as he was running this planet and being like a lunatic, or not a lunatic, I don't know, a monster, or yeah, I think he said lunatic, like the lunatic that's running this planet, because it's a one-way street as a lunatic. There is no turning back. There's no U-turns. There's no two-way streets. There's not even two lanes. It's one lane straight down. Straight down, not up, down. You got to turn back around and go up. The amount of things that I've done in my life that were wrong, you know, not all the time did I understand that it's wrong. But having a guilty conscience of whatever it is would stick with me. And then I don't like that guilty feeling. So that guilty feeling is what prevents me from doing that more or doing that ever again. Who tells you if you're doing a job of some sort and it's a legitimate job, you're doing it, who tells you that the job you did isn't good enough? Who says that when you're done you should have done more? Well, that would be the devil. Who says when you did a job that you did a good job? You could have done a better job, but you did a pretty decent job. Well, that would be Christ. Because you can always do better, but there's a difference between the tone and the approach. You need to do better, even though you did a good job. Even though you did a good job, you're being lied to in your own head that you didn't do a good job of whatever it is. Well, you just trying to throw a simple example out there. It's the way that the devil comes to you and degrades you, and puts you down. The common, you're not good enough. You're not good enough for who? For what? My wife has been tormented by this devil spirit. Still is, but less than she was 12 years ago when the bleeding started. When we got married, the bleeding started. "14 years since we met." The devil has always been her, because when you're with a person that's demonically possessed for 7 years and all he does is treat you like garbage and tells you all your negative traits and picks apart your body of anything that's negative, well, obviously that's the devil. When you accept someone's flaws in their flesh because you not only have a Christ spirit, but you understand the flesh is temporary. Why would you be so wrapped up in your flesh and so concerned about it? Sure, you could take care of yourself. You could take care of your body. It feels good when you get a good workout in, even though you don't feel like doing it. I can only imagine if I had time to live my life, that would be fantastic if I knew that feeling. I will know the feeling, I just don't know it yet. Like Jacob Israel. I should actually be in his position. And I think he may have taken my position. What do you think, Jacob? Huh? Were you picked over me back in 2018? Because it seems like your channel skyrocketed since back then when you had the same amount of subs. No, matter of fact, I had more subs than you back in 2018. But I don't even know if you're a real person or not. You could just be a demon bot. Or you could be Stephen James Deshawn on another channel. You could be the 8th and of the 7. I don't know. I'm still juxing my positions here. Because one time Stephen James was on his video and he's like, let's go let's ask Johnny Click, and then he paused the video and went back to it, almost referring to that's you. Or let's put on my twin. Here, Johnny, come in. Take my voiceover. I'm not sure. I really would love to know. I can't wait until the time that I know all the truth and I can stop guessing. When Jacob turned 50, it looked like his channel was in full-blown money-making mode. I looked at look, what is it? 50,000 views, $250 at least, right? 50,000 views, $250. Let's just say that I get 50,000 views every single video I upload, but the click count is purposed to only have 250, maybe. And sometimes it's 100 views. It's like, perfect example. The devil is controlling the click count because he's a liar, right? He's hiding the truth. I know that he's hiding the truth. I know I have more views than that because it's not that I'm getting, or even, it's not even that YouTube itself is hiding my views. It's the fact that the people that are watching my video, there's a different link to the one sharing it, where it's like a download, and then that person downloads my video and then sends it to other people, and I don't get the click view count, although I have 100,000 people, 144,000 people watching my video, every single video. All right, well, when that finally comes to the point of being, getting the credit for the views, and they start clicking on my actual video itself instead of having it sent to them, and my channel is monetized after 7 years of doing it for free, every upload, YouTube will be paying my bills for the rest of my life, because I have no problem getting up and doing a video every day. I've been doing it for 7 years almost, and not even just one video on average, but at least 2 every day for almost 7 years for free. I did the Walmart video. I monetized that after about 1.5 million views, and then I started getting paid $250 a month because I was getting about 50,000 views a month. So 50,000 views a day, $250 a day for 7 days a week, because that's not even like work. Doing YouTube videos, it's just talking right now. This ain't work. Going home, sitting in front of the computer, putting things together, yeah, that's work. But it's the kind of work I enjoy doing because I know that God is in it, obviously. So let's just say 50,000 views each day, $250, $12.50, $17.50 a week. Yeah, that's exactly what I need. I need $17.50 a week. 50,000 views each day. So I know Derrick Bros is in charge. At least I believe he's in charge. Steve Benoom may own the YouTube platform as a king of like the earth, or the king of something, one of the kings. Steve Benoom is definitely a king. So's Jacob Israel. So's Stephen. So is Jonathan Kleck. So's Stephen James. So is Kim Jean. So is Skip Heitzing. So is Paul Begley. So is Paul Detilt. So is a bunch of kings. You're all kings of something. I just don't know which, what branch you're the king of. Although Derrick Bros has it written on his About Him page what he's the king of. I mean, unless it's just a story, but you seem more like like Enlil does seem like an Enki as Jonathan Kleck on Earth, because he, Enlil's not into all the sexual nonsense and everything, and I understand that too. But sometimes people do the Wailing Wall thing, and it's just it shows their dedication to Lucifer on air. Why is that necessary? Why does everybody have to put their finger in front of their mouth and say shh and do the little 666 symbols and then act like they're just doing it to, like Justin acts like he's doing it just to mock the devil, but no, you're doing it because you're part of it. I would do it to mock the devil, because all of you know that I'm not from that group of you, even though I thought we were all good buddies at one point, but nope, it was all a show. But in the end, it's all good. I'm not angry at anybody. Certain characters I really have a tough time, not having an irritated feeling about it, because it's like Christopher Green. Have you ever had a bad day in your life according to that character? No? Well, you need to. You need to have a bad year. You need everything taken from you and just get a regular job like me and get gang stalked every day and get harassed by everybody. I think the devil needs that punishment. What do you think? And maybe that's why Stephen James came down to Earth from his island above to live down here like King Neb for 7 years. Or he's playing the role, one or the other. It's either he is or he's acting the role. Because you need to be gang stalked. You need to be down here and not living in luxury, and be humbled and learn who the true God is. Because the true God is going to be working through a human being, the spirit. God's going to be hiding himself inside of a flesh body. And I don't know if the person is going to know that, but God knows from the beginning to end. And God would be the one that's harassed by the devil and all his minions. In order to prove it. In order to prove that God does exist. That's how that happens. So everybody that's high and mighty on their high horse, like the character of Christopher Green, something has to be done about him. Even if it's just a program. In this program, I believe Christopher Green needs to lose all of his shit. Because when he talks about how America's going down and everybody's, they're all just dumbasses. I know that's Stephen James. It's probably the same character, but it, being washed up on an empty beach like Judas, just like Bono being washed up on an empty beach. When he's singing to Edge, saying you in I still haven't found, I'm looking for a video where you bore my sins or something like, or my shame, and then I believe. Did Judas believe? Did Judas believe? Or did he lose his soul? Or did he repent and hang up his career and spill his guts? Or did he do that literally and spill his guts because of the Tree of Life inverted system? Or is it both? Did he do both? Did he really hang himself and lose his soul? Or did he spill his guts because of the guilt? And the guilt comes in because God made him aware of his guiltiness and the shame for betraying the one and only truth. I don't like people suffering. Matter of fact, when I get my first $1 billion deposit, the first thing I want to do in the center, the heart of the center of city, Philadelphia, is open up, build, however it happens, some type of a cleaning, homeless, shelter type setting where you can put people to work. The ones that are homeless, you can have them take care of the cleaning the bathrooms and washing the clothes. And yeah, you may be homeless, but to start out with, at least you have a place. I wouldn't say a shelter for the homeless right away, but something like a place that you can shower, you can get clean, you can wash your clothes. And then the homeless people that don't have a job, well, they can have a job by taking care of that place and cleaning it up and just making it work for itself. To get warm, a place with like a fireplace and free coffee and free food and like that. That would be my first thing to do. But that's because these people already have it bad. And for whatever reason, you can blame it on being a drug addict. Well, then there will also be some kind of programs inside of there to help them out. Because you know why? You know how people can get off drugs? Is when they know that God is real. When they know that somebody gives a shit about them and is actually taking money out of their pocket to help them. That can instill the belief of God into these drug addicts. And maybe they might decide to stop doing drugs because they're being cared for. Did anybody ever think of that? Devil, did you think of that, devil? Yeah, that's why you're trying to keep the money from me, because you know the moment I get all the money in the world, you ain't going to exist much longer in my world. You're going to go back to the metaverse. I can solve all the problems in the planet. I truly can. Every single one of them. I just need the access to do it. I need the authority. I need the public authority and the access to doing it. And I have no problem doing it for the rest of my life, every day until I die and go home or wake up. But people like Christopher Green, that character needs to go. It needs to go. But I also know what that character's doing too. He's taking from the rich and he's going to give it to me. So, I can't. I get torn between that because I know what he's doing, but I also can't stand what he's doing. But he wasn't lying when he was saying we're the Robin Hood of victory. Because he's going to gather up. Look, if you're dumb enough to give all your money and put it into cryptocurrency at this time, going into next year, when the entire system collapsed, because I believe that's Stephen James' job as a money exchanger, from the house of Cain, he would know that once those tables are flipped over, the money exchangers, because you exchanged your US dollar currency, because Christopher Green's telling you to get all your money out of the banks now. Get all your money out of the banks. The dollar is not going to be nothing. We have cash flow with our $1 billion island project. Cash flow, he says. But yet he tells you to get all your cash out of the bank. And does that make sense? It's a trap. But if you're dumb enough, you'll exchange all of your US currency, which isn't going anywhere, unless if it does and I'm wrong. But I sense the trap that whatever the majority is doing and saying, obviously you don't do it. You just do the opposite. Get all your money out of the bank. Don't get all your money out of the bank. Put all your money into cryptocurrency and the Jesus coin. Do not do that, or else you're going to give all your money to Jesus. You know, the coin, not Jesus himself. Nobody's giving money to Jesus at this time. Nobody. Well, maybe a few, but nobody's like consistently giving their money to a good cause like mine, like my own. Not that I'm asking for anybody's money. No like regular people. I'm talking about Derrick Bros. When do you allow my click count to get to 50,000, at least 144,000 each video? After 7 years? All right, that's fine. I can wait. No big deal. You know, I've been doing it for free consistently. I mean, hey, you had me on your show, Derrick Bros. You're inky. I mean, Enlil in my mind. You even said I've discovered some very realistic things. I've been trying to find out Inky, Enlil, Enoch, Elijah, and I gotta say you discovered some very realistic things. So was that me talking to the king of the above ground world in the air up in heaven? Was that me talking to you? Like, that's crazy, ain't it? I found Inky and Enlil. All right, well, when does that pay off? When does it prove itself out that I did, instead of just saying it? I don't know the timing. That's my problem. I know what's coming. I just don't know the timing of when it's coming. I know I get my reward. It sure is a long wait, ain't it? But it's worth it, because in the end, I finally get my pension plan. And I did it all through words. Words. I talked my way into it. Not even knowing that that's how I'm supposed to do it. I just talked my way into a future retirement. So if I've discovered some very realistic things, but who did I find? Who is Elijah? Is that Stephen James? But then who's Enoch? Enoch is someone that's got his head up in the clouds all the time. Kind of like John from Denver. And Enlil is the commander of the army, the heavenly army, the one that can come down to earth and come towards Enki, his brother, which reminds me of Jacob and Esau at the same time too, where Esau would be like Derrick coming down, and Jacob, the deceiver, Jonathan Click, wrestling with the angel for a while now, at least 4 years of wrestling. saying, please bless me. I blessed you, you blessed me. But in the end, Derrick just wants to give his brother Jonathan Kleck a hug and tell him he loves him. And that's the truth. But I don't think he felt that way 7 years ago. But since I showed up, I've given Jonathan Kleck a tremendous amount of attention. I've given Derrick Rose a tremendous amount of attention. And I've discovered some very realistic things. So maybe I'm the middleman. You know? Maybe I'm the middleman. Hanging on a cross. With 2 thieves on each side. In my world. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe that's what it is. Just maybe. In the beginning, I don't think Jonathan Kleck was on my side. I think Derrick Rose was on my side more than Jonathan Kleck was. But then, within the past 4 years, I think Jonathan Kleck was definitely on my side. And Derrick Rose. So it seems like the 2 black rocks became one. The 2 governing officials of heaven and earth. Because somebody's the king of the earth down here. Somebody is the pharaoh. And it just seems like Jonathan Kleck just may be the pharaoh. But Jacob Israel's showing his stranglehold on people. And again, his character as well, I get mixed emotions because I love him, but I can't stand some certain things just because he knows the entire script. And you know, you're not down here living, you're not the thing that has an irritant feeling, but I'm not going to dwell on it, but I will talk about it. It's the fact that people that run the planet and the system and everything and smile and laugh about our suffering down here, that's what the problem is, because you're not down here suffering with us. Unless you're King Nebuchadnezzar. Then you are. So I can only go by what it seems like. Stephen James is, according to the YouTube script, he's a suffering servant over there, like King Nebuchadnezzar is for the past almost 7 years. And considering his father passed and left him, he won't need money anymore as of right now, going into the 7th year since I started. It's fitting. It's fitting the King Nebuchadnezzar story, isn't it? Because King Neb isn't he like the first one that goes? And then all these other kingdoms, the other 3, like Derrick Rose will pop up, and Jonathan Kleck, and Jacob Israel, and these other 3 systems at the end. But who's the head of gold? Is that Derrick? Is that Stephen Benoon? Or is it Stephen James? Or are they the same people? Somewhere along the line, Stephen James is he's either Derrick Rose, he's either Jonathan Kleck, he's either Stephen Benoon, he's either Jacob Israel. It's one or the other. It's not Jacob Israel is either this, that, or the other. I believe Stephen James is the 8th and of the 7. So it's just which one of those 7 is he of. And the good thing about that is I never left them or forsook them for the past 6 years. I probably made more videos about Jonathan Kleck, but Stephen James was the longest lasting. So when I go by that 7-year King Nebuchadnezzar timeline, I think I'm in better shape with Steve being the old king there. I even wrote him a 7-page letter. I'll have to read it. I have to read all these letters I wrote to everybody in a video when I have time. But I read the very first portion of it, and I said, What did I say? Greetings, King. This letter was like at least 5 years ago I wrote. Maybe even, yeah, about 5 years ago. So, don't listen to the devil. Don't stay irritated at him. Let him do his thing. Don't impede upon the gangstalkers. Just let them do their thing. And you just go about your business.